Yo guys, what's going on? Lucky Cheese 7 is back again to give you guys my live stream discussion slash review on One Piece chapters 1104 and 1105. And this is actually kind of funny because this is my second time doing a live stream discussion on this chapter. Because when I tried to do this, like, literally like 20-30 minutes ago, StreamYard was acting kind of weird. And the audio didn't go through. It kind of freeze at certain parts. So I'm hoping that this time, we go through all the way. There's no interruptions on, okay, let's not say interruptions, but like any disconnect between me going through the chapters and then, of course, this. But one thing I do want to address here that I also addressed in the previous stream is why exactly I didn't tackle 1104 separately. Well, here's the thing. Throughout the week, it got like incredibly busy, which is why you didn't get to see me do a stream on 1104 by itself. But also, I did want to actually talk about 1104 yesterday when I was doing like my catch ups, not my catch ups, but like my barrage of live streams yesterday that I was doing for like Eden Zero, Dead Rock, Chainsaw Man. But then by the time I got done doing my third live stream of the day, which was Chainsaw Man, like my energy felt kind of like super low at that point. And I was like, I could go through and actually tackle One Piece chapter 1104. But I also realized, sometimes you got to take care of yourself. That's always more important. So I told myself that 1105 drops tomorrow anyway, officially, like today. So why not just save my discussion for 1104 and combine it with chapter 1105? And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So, without further ado, let's dive into 1104, titled Thank You, Daddy. Of course, you get this nice cover spread with, cover art, I should say. Reader request, Sanji given Mouse, you know, a ring, proposal, kind of cute, but we continue off exactly with where we left off with the last chapter. Kuma going straight in for the punch at Saint Jay Garcia, and he kind of thinks back, the Buccaneer boy. Your only options are slavery or death. Your mom's dead, son. But I think she's better off that way. And he's thinking back to, like, of course, his life. And then he thinks back to Jenny, like, I'm so happy. I'm sorry, Kumachi. I'm dying. It won't be long now. And then, of course, you see him, like, just holding baby Bonnie. Cut over to present tense. You see Bonnie, like, in tears. He's like, why is this happening, Vegapunk? He should be dead. This is Saturn talking. Give me 1 second. Funny how I say, as soon as I say there should be no more interruptions or distractions, something something pulls me away for a little bit. But that being said, continuing off, Saint Jay Garcia says he should be dead. A few days after the Revolutionary Army took Kuma away, I pressed the self-destruct switch. And Vegapunk's like, huh? Like, what? And look, I'm going to say this right now. This right here, this shot you get of like Kuma punching Saint Jay Garcia Saturn like in the face, this shit right here was going to be the thumbnail for the stream. That's what this was going to be. If I did the stream initially just for 1104, this would have been the thumbnail because it looks freaking incredible. So, you see what happens here. Saint Saturn. See, like the buildings. You can kind of topple over him. It's like, look at the town. What is happening? What is this? Did Kuma do this? That's the Marines talking, right? He punched out one of the 5 elders, the very highest authority in the world. And then, of course, you see Kuma catching his breath. Rescue Saint Saturn at once. He's trapped under the buildings. A slave just punched the man at the pinnacle of the world. That's what one of the Marines says. And again, Kuma just taking his breath like, this is a historical atrocity, which I'm assuming this is probably like one of the inciting incidences of Egghead is what Kuma did, literally laying his hands, like, in a sense, desecrating one of like the holy figures of One Piece. That's what I'm assuming this inciting incident is just this by itself. Finally, I can move again. Bonnie, are you hurt? This is what Sanji's asking. And then you got Frankie. Now's our chance. Take Bonnie and let's move on up. Es- Escape is our only plan. To which Vegapunk says, what happened? Did I not attach any self-destruct switch? I knew that if I helped turn you into a bomb, that would inevitably they would inevitably use you as a suicide weapon. But I upheld their conditions in the end. I attached a whole shutdown switch to you, and now that it's being thrown, you should be in a total vegetative state, without the ability to act of your own free will or even carry out orders. And by the way, this is like, as this is going down, you see Kuma kind of frozen, somewhat. Taking Bonnie, as she's like crying in tears. And I'm not gonna lie, like this was this was actually kind of like really, really emotional. I'm not even kidding you. There is no reason he should have sprung into motion, and no logical scientific basis for his arrival at the island where Bonnie is. So, is it true then? It is not the physical strength of the Buccaneers that makes them remarkable. For at one point in time, he's like, dot, dot, dot. And then you get to Kizaru, he's like, it's over. Then Sentomaru looks over and says, Kuma. Meanwhile, you have these Marines in the corner, like, where's Straw Hat? He disappeared before we could apprehend him. I don't want to make that report. And again, if we want to talk emotions here, this part here kind of hits deep. So much. You got Bonnie putting her hands on her dad. Thank you, Daddy. I saw all of your memories. Mommy was such a wonderful person. And you wrote me all those letters, after all. I was so happy to find out. Everyone calls you a tyrant. But I know my daddy is the kindest and most wonderful man in the entire world. And I'll never ever forget it. And then just hugs him. Just gives him a hug. But it's not over. Oh no. Not by a long shot. Saint Saturn. And I mean, he gets back up on his feet. She looks over like, oh, and like you see him like super damn pissed. One of his horns is like gushed out too. Like Vegapunk. How do you explain all this? Was it your doing? And Vegapunk's like, well, I suppose it must look that way. I could call it the power of love if it makes you feel any better. Then he says, I see. Then it is a flaw in the human form, an error in the programming. Farewell, I have no use for you men. And you see his like body like regenerating, like his arm, and then of course like his the other horn that was ripped off too. And Sanji points that out, like, hey, how come his body's regenerating? And you got Bonnie like screaming, like, hey, Daddy, look out, like move out of the way. Sanji coming in, don't do anything. And Sanji does have a pretty cool moment. I do have to say that he has a pretty damn cool moment here with with what he does to break Bonnie's heart. Spider Gramps. I owe Kuma a great debt too. Radical, and that's now Frankie talking when he says radical, and like Kizaru says, then it's true. You developed very well. Goes for the attack, beam, but Kizaru jumps right behind Frankie. And he's like, show me how you've grown. Sanji screams, Frankie. And then Bonnie kind of notes that, hey, but Vegapunk's not moving. Like, like, hey, like, what's up with Dad? He's not moving at all. And still, can you carry him to the label face Atlas? And this is the Atlas carrying. So Vegapunk's the one asking Atlas, and Atlas says, yeah, I got this. To which Kizaru says, now that even Kuma's in the scene, I'd say we've got an abundance of players, wouldn't you say? Let's finally end this. And he's already saying this with Saturn behind him. And Vegapunk's like, have you no heart? You're a sad man, Kizaru. Yes, I'm a miserable sight. I should have brought darker shades. Trying to be all coy about it. And then, of course, you get all the ships here. The Buster Call has been activated. The island has been declared a threat to the world government. All warships prepare for bombardment. Burn it to the ground in the name of justice. With this last final shot of Saturn saying, those who study the secrets of the world, those who possess the blood of a lost people. I want to say of lost people. Maybe lost. Honestly, lost civilization would have sounded better. Possesses the blood of a lost civilization. Those who awakened an ancient god, referring to Nika. This island is full of inconvenient people who must be eradicated. And let me just say, it's a pretty powerful note to end off on. Pretty powerful note to end off on. The only drawback I would say we have to this chapter is that we don't really get much insight as to what happens with, like, say, with Nami, with Robin, Chopper. Like, we don't really get like their aspect. And same thing with Luffy too. Like, we don't really see what's happened on Luffy's end, which we can kind of get an idea of. Like, okay, he's still probably like knocked out, but there's that. But overall, I would say as a whole, 1104, amazing plus, amazing plus chapter, and there's no other better way I could describe it than that. Now let's move over to 1105, the height of Folly. And then you have the Marines escaping, all ships prepare to fire, all sailors leave the island, retreat to your ships. What's happening on the center? No idea, just follow orders. Saint Saturn, Borsalano, Admiral Borsalano, hurry up to the ship. To which You've got this with Kizaru and Saturn. Kizaru and I will remain on the island. Begin the bombardment when the ships are ready. Huh? But go. Yes, sir. I thought my life was the only thing you wanted, is what Vegapunk asks to them, Saint Saturn. Egghead is packed with the fruits of the latest research in every conceivable field. Destroy it and you'll set the state of scientific progress back 100 years. Call up the Buster Call. Please, Kizaru. And Saturn's like, are you still hiding something? Perhaps something troublesome to the world government. We do not need progress. And Vegapunk's like, it's for the sake of humanity. Did I forget to mention that I ordered a strike against the ship that escaped this island yesterday? And Vegapunk's like, oh, what? To which Saturn explains, like, after all, it's possible that someone on board knew something about the Void Sentry. I sent battleships after it to ensure there will be no survivors. How could you do such a thing? They know nothing. They've committed no crimes. And Saturn's like, you caused this to happen to them, Vegapunk. You broke the law just as they did at O'Hara. You could not overcome your lust for knowledge, and so you had to go digging up the past. Pacifists are in standby mode on the island. All other sailors get to the ships. Ship 54, all green. Ship 21, all green. So everyone's just getting ready for, like, the Buster Call. To which Sanji points over. He says, hurry, you get in the vacuum rocket while Vegapunk is distracting those guys. And then you got Atlas. We'll meet up at the back entrance of the lava phase. Got it. And to which you've got Bonney, like, asking, like, hey, Sanji, what about Vegapunk? And Sanji just gives, like, the thumbs up pose to Bonney and says, like, don't worry, Bonney. I'll bring him back. And he runs over. Like, come in, Nami. This is me. What's the situation? And Nami says, we're already at the back door. What's all the noise down there? Labo phase? And she's like, a Buster Call. Which freaks out Chopper. And Usopp's like, this sounds done for. Back at the rear entrance, and I mean, let me just take a moment to say it's been so long in real time since we last saw Nami, and she's still incredible, beautiful. Likewise, you got Robin, who's like kind of resting. I like how Robin really kind of doesn't give a shit. Like, yeah, she's kind of injured, but like, yeah. And Chopper's taking care of her, and Usopp's the one who's kind of freaking out. But the thing I find interesting about Nami is that this has been a, the thing that's interesting about Nami that I've always noticed about each arc is that Luffy's kind of always at like the center of attention first before others. And I think many people can note that about Nami. If you go back to the beginning, see each arc, it's like a pattern. A very, very noticeable pattern in storytelling. And I know Oda isn't doing that on purpose. But especially with this, like, you just see her asking, like, hey, what about Luffy? He's with you, right? To which Sanji says, like, not in my line of sight at the moment, but he's fine. But focus on yourselves. And to which Nami continues, like, Zoro's still being, or in this case, Zolo, doesn't matter. Zolo's still being held up by Lucci. So Jinbei went to put a stop to that and keep him from getting lost. Stella, I'm so worried. After they moved the Sunny, Luffy, Frankie, and Bonnie went down toward you. So Brooke went to help Lilith, who got left behind. And then you got Chopper saying, you can lay back down, Robin. And Usopp again, freaking out. How many times are we going to deal with the damn Buster Calls? Let's get out of here. Hurry up, people. And Nami points out, like, hey, the problem is the escape plan where the Vegapunk 1 takes us from here to the shore isn't going to work anymore. Kizaru ruined it when he destroyed the robot. What? You see in my hands moving a ship across. Let me turn off Discord real quick. Moving a ship across land, and Brooke's like, "Is a piece of cake." And then you got Stella saying, "Very nice work, Bones. We'll be back at the rear entrance in no time." And then, of course, you see the Sunny coming through. Who would have thought of turning island clouds to ice for a runaway? Brilliant idea and execution. Yee ho 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 ho! A compliment from the world's greatest scientist. That'll make anyone blush. So, how do you stop it at the end? Oh, I hadn't thought that far ahead. Then we're gonna slide right off. It's kind of amusing, actually. What's what's your plan then, genius? Uh, actually, no, that's Lilith talking. Not getting the names mixed up. Uh, what do you think it should be, Lilith? Yeah, so that's Stella. Lilith. What do you think this should be, Lilith? Don't you see the labo phase above the clouds is still right behind its barrier? Still got some of the Marines. Fire cannons. Begin bombardment. So like the Buster Call's like already about to like take place. I'm not on board yet. Destroy the central factory in Future City. Careful of the pacifistas. And then Kuma still, or I should say the pacifist is like just laying waste to the island. And you see Vegapunk's just going like, Egghead. This is Fable phase. Next stop, Labo phase. Here we go. And this is, okay, so you see what's going on here. Vacuum rocket. Okay. Whoa, what is this? It's so fast. Estimated travel time. Whoa, 32 seconds. Ama no Murakuma sword. See what's happening here. Damn it, Kizaru. And then Sanji's saying, "Hang on, Bonnie, I'll save you." And he's like, "This is a Saturn now thinking. Pacifistas. It's exquisite. Shoot down Bonnie and Kuma, the daughter he gave his life to save." And this is the clone now about to like lay the mark. And Bonnie's like being killed by his own clone. Daddy. A fitting end for the insect she is. It is the highest point of Folly. When I heard you'd become a pirate, Bonnie, this is now Vegapunk just thinking to himself, there was one awful possibility that flashed through my mind, that the Navy might order the pacifistas taking your father's form to shoot his own daughter without realizing the irony of it. And interesting that we actually do see Luffy here because like he's still knocked out. Hey, that's Straw Hat, right? I can't eat anymore. I can't move. It's funny. Capture him. He's one of the four emperors. I mean, here's the thing. Luffy's gonna find a way to make it out. We know this. So it's just a matter of like, will it be 1106 or 1107? I'm gonna say 1106. So we'll probably get to see Luffy like get either rescued or like towards the tail and like do something. My best guess. We failed to destroy the ship. Must report back to Gizar. Tell him they went to Egghead. And this is where the chapter ends. So someone just kind of pops up and we have no idea who it is. Actually makes me kind of curious as to who this could possibly be because a lot of people are speculating could be Dragon. I don't necessarily think it's Sabo. But we have to keep one thing in mind. Who's the one person right now who's like currently like within close proximity range of Egghead? Vivi. Vivi, Morgans, and oh my god. that one dude. I feel so bad because I'm usually like at the top. Wobble, yeah, and Wobble. The three of them are like within close proximity range of this. So I'm not saying it's them, but I'm saying they're getting close to where they need to be. And if I had to take a guess, I'd probably say Dragon is the most likely to show up. Definitely. And who knows? It could be someone entirely different too. Actually, wait, hold on. It could be Smoker too, because God knows how long it's been since we last seen him. Wouldn't that be a treat? But this chapter, without a shadow of a doubt, pure perfection. For everything this chapter offered, number one, getting to see some of the other Straw Hat members that we haven't seen in a while, of course. Everyone trying to escape off the island now. And again, it's going to be interesting seeing what plays out in 1106. The fact that what I'm assuming now is the inciting incident is Kuma taking his fists against Saturn, one of the five great elders, and it's gonna be insane, insane for sure. And I really cannot wait to see with what unfolds in the next chapter. So if we're combining the ratings, 1104 was amazing plus, 1105 pure perfection. So overall, you get a combined rating of amazing plus. And with that being said, you guys, that's pretty much all I gotta say when it comes to this live stream discussion slash review on One Piece chapters 1104 and 1105. I'm gonna promise that when the next chapter drops, it's gonna be just a single chapter reaction, single chapter discussion, if you will. And until then, you guys, that's pretty much all I gotta say. I'm Lucky G7. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more One Piece, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.